Okay, well. Yes, hello, I'm Brian Croydragon, and because I don't have a mic anymore, I'm doing this on my phone. Welcome to the new episode of Classics for the Family. Today, it is Dracula, the Bram Stoker novel. An excellent piece of horror literature. An excellent work of horror. True horror. Not any of that mockery that's being written and made today. Now, first off, we start with an abridged audiobook. The painting is... I have no idea which painting this is. It doesn't say on the back. I would say what painting is on the cover for Penguin's books, but not for their audiobooks? Yeah. Anyway, you'll be interested to know Richard E. Grant, who appeared in Bram Stoker's Dracula, reads this, so... Now that's out of the way. Now, first off, we start with graphic novels. And we start with the one by Graphic Classics. Very good. Very faithful. Made for the whole family. But it is still very faithful nonetheless. And if any of you buggers say it looks like hentai. Yeah, exactly what my cat Alex said. Meow. That came out wrong. No, that's not what he said at all. If you think that looks like hentai, you're sick in the head. Okay, next up is the one by Stone Arch. If there is one that I can say is heavily inspired by movies, I'd say it's this one, with Dracula bringing to mind Gary Oldman and Van Helsing, Abraham Van Helsing, bringing to mind Gabriel Van Helsing, as played by Hugh Jackman. And besides that, we've got Quincy Morris omitted. Dreadful. Whoa, what is... Okay, that's my power cord I nearly tripped over. Lastly, we end with Marbles. The rating is parental advisory. It's 100% faithful, and some excellent artwork. Adapted by Roy Thomas as the writer, and the artist by Dick Giordano. I'm telling you, if you read one graphic novel adaptation of Dracula, make sure it's this one. Sorry about that. Now next, we move on to movies. Written in 1897, it only took 25 years for the story to reach the screen. In contrast to Frankenstein, where it took 94 years. More on that some other time. Maybe. The film is Nosferatu. Unauthorized, unless all of the characters' names have been changed, the location has been changed. The only thing that hasn't been changed is that the vampire's castle is in Transylvania. And no, he is not called Nosferatu. His name is actually Count Orlok. Nosferatu is just another word for vampire. Also, this is the movie that introduced the concept of vampires being killed by sunlight. Doesn't appear in the novel, never appeared in the folklore. It's an invention of the movies. Dracula could go outside. And given his background as a warlord, him being trapped in human form is nothing to laugh at. Now, there's actually two movies here, both made by Universal in 1931, both based off of a play based off of the book. One in English, one in Spanish, and the Spanish one is actually superior. I know everyone was saying the English version is better because Bela Lugosi played the one many times. He did. On stage. On film, he only played the character twice. For some differences between the English and the Spanish version, between a cast, the names are... Some of the names are Spanish-ized. Instead of John, we got Juan. Instead of Mina, we got Ava. Instead of Lucy, we've got Lucia. Some of the women's costumes are more revealing, and it's more violent. Watch the Spanish version. Ugh. Next up, we move to 1958. With Horror of Dracula, starring Christopher Lee. It's a loose adaptation. Again, Dracula is killed by sunlight. Of course, Christopher Lee had actually read the book, so you can imagine how unhappy he was about that. In contrast to Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee actually did play the role of Dracula many times. On screen. Of course, neither Christopher Lee nor Bela Lugosi are the best Dracula. That instead goes to Louis Jourdan in the most faithful adaptation. Made by BBC in 1977, this two-part miniseries is quite indeed the most faithful, with minor changes like Mina and Lucy being sisters, Dracula being suave, urbane, and seductive. Also, he doesn't grow younger from drinking blood as he does in the novel, but considering Louis Jourdan looks quite good for a man in his 50s, I don't see any reason why he'd have to grow younger. Dracula is killed by a stake through the heart instead of getting stabbed in the heart and his neck sliced. And the characters of Quincy Morris and Arthur Homewood are combined into Quincy Homewood. Nosferatu, Horror of Dracula, and the 1931 films I'd probably show to kids, but the rating for this is 14A, so... Make sure they're older kids. Ugh, jeez. Next, moving on to 1979, we've got Nosferatu the Vampire, a remake of the 1922 film that actually uses the original names but keeps the setting in Germany. Okay then. It's very good. It's rated PG, so you might want to show it to everyone, but I don't know, it might be frightening at the start because those are actual mummies that show up at the start. And if you want some irony, Klaus Kinski had played Renfield in a previous adaptation of Dracula. Here he's actually playing Dracula. How's that for rising to the top? And lastly, we end with the second most faithful adaptation. It's okay, but the title is misleading. It makes you think it's completely faithful to the novel, but it's not. There was no romance between Dracula and Mina. None whatsoever. Dracula was a metaphorical rapist. Metaphorical and perhaps literal. There's a whole lot wrong with this, which is why it's the second most faithful. So what's the Louis Jourdan miniseries, not the Coppola film? I'll see you next week, perhaps with a microphone, so I can just do this on my computer. And maybe I'll be doing Frankenstein. See ya!